Lesson 11 for March 7 to 13, From Battle to Victory, read by Dr. Percy Harrold. Friday, March 13. From Prophets and Kings, page 572, we read, For 3 weeks Gabriel wrestled with the powers of darkness, seeking to counteract the influence at work on the mind of Cyrus. All that heaven could do in behalf of the people of God was done. The victory was finally gained. The forces of the enemy were held in check all the days of Cyrus and all the days of his son Cambyses. And from the book Sanctified Life, Ellen White writes on page 51, What great honour is shown to Daniel by the majesty of heaven! He comforts his trembling servant and assures him that his prayer has been heard in heaven. In answer to that fervent petition, the angel Gabriel was sent to affect the heart of the Persian king. The monarch had resisted the impressions of the Spirit of God during the 3 weeks while Daniel was fasting and praying, but heaven's prince, the archangel Michael, was sent to turn the heart of the stubborn king to take some decided action to answer the prayer of Daniel. And that brings us to our 3 discussion questions for this week. 1. Though we are not the first people in Christian history to see this truth, as Seventh-day Adventists, we are strong proponents of the great controversy motive, or the idea that the entire universe is part of an epic struggle between Christ and Satan. And we believe that every human being is indeed involved in this controversy. Others, even secular people, have talked about the reality of some kind of battle in which we are all immersed. What has been your experience in the great controversy? How have you seen it manifested in your own life? What have you learned that could help others struggling as well? 2. Read Ephesians 6:10-18. Notice the overt military imagery that Paul uses. What battle instructions are given here for us in the great controversy? Ephesians 6, beginning at verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armour of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. And 3, in Daniel 10:11, for a second time, and we'll see in Daniel 9:23, Daniel is called Hamudot, or beloved. Let's read that, Daniel 10:11. And he said to me, O Daniel, man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak to you, and stand upright, for I have now been sent to you. While he was speaking this word to me, I stood trembling. And chapter 9, verse 23, at the beginning of your supplications the command went out, and I have come to tell you, for you are greatly beloved. Therefore consider the matter and understand the vision. What does this tell us about the close link, even an emotional link, between heaven and earth? Think about how radically different this reality is when compared to the common atheistic view of much of the modern world. What hope does this Bible view, as seen in this reference to Daniel, offer us? Inside Story. Our mission story this week is titled Fetus Refused to Die, and it's by Victor Hulbert. I'm very sorry, the doctor told Fusei Suzuki. Your husband is very young, but unfortunately he will die tonight or at the most in a few days. The news devastated the young Japanese mother. She went to the river to fetch water and, looking into the water, considered throwing herself in. But then 2 men in black suits appeared. Be patient for just a while, said one. Yes, be patient, said the other. After these words, the men disappeared from her sight. The encounter pulled Suzuki back from despair, and she returned home to nurse her husband, Mitsuharu, a farmer stricken with tuberculosis. Soon she was pregnant with her second child. Mitsuharu could not bear the thought of his wife struggling to raise 2 children on her own. Finally, she agreed to his pleas to terminate the pregnancy. The government supported the decision. The pharmacist prescribed a strong medicine that she promised would work without fail. "Be careful with the medicine and don't exceed the prescribed dose," she cautioned. "Otherwise your own life will be in danger." Suzuki swallowed the first dose, enough to end the pregnancy. Weeping in sorrow, she felt the fetus move. "My baby's still alive," she cried out. The next day she repeated the dose, then again on the third day. Yet the fetus kept moving inside her. In desperation, she drained the medicine bottle, but still the baby remained alive. "It's totally unbelievable," she told her husband. A healthy baby boy was born. Several months later, she and Mitsuharu attended evangelistic meetings, and they were baptized on 𝐼𝐼𝐼's first birthday. Their baptismal date always reminds me that God intervened in my mother's womb to save my life, said Akiri Suzuki, a veteran Japanese pastor who retired after serving as executive secretary of the Adventist Church's Northern Asia Pacific Division. "My parents became the first Adventist church members in my village." Akiri was 30 before his mother revealed his origins. "When I heard the story of my birth from my mother, I was terribly shocked and felt as if I had been struck by powerful lightning," he said. "My whole body trembled." Overwhelmed by God's tremendous love, he thought, "I am a very precious gift from God." He rededicated himself to God at that very moment. "God intervened in my mother's womb to save my life," he said. And Victor Hulbert is Communication Director for the Trans-European Division. This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind and Hearing Impaired, Christian Record Services for the Blind, the Sabbath School Department and Hope Channel. You can also listen on the official Sabbath School 4 app and the Apple iTunes app, Sabbath School with Percy Harrold. Remember, God is always faithful.